Alright, so let's talk about some shooting techniques, which are really basic shooting techniques. So this is, I'm assuming that you're going to use a tripod or using some sort of setting device to keep your camera still. A lot of the ring lights, they will have a built-in like tripod adapter for smartphones, so you may want to consider like a ring light if you're really just getting started. Or if you're using a webcam, a lot of times the webcams will mount on top of a laptop or on top of your computer screen. And so you want your camera to be set about forehead to eye level, eye to forehead level. You want to be a little bit above you, and what that will do is that will kind of accentuate your jawline if you have any sort of neck flap. Forgive me for saying that, but it'll kind of accentuate your jawline. It'll de-emphasize your neckline in a lot of times. And so that's why you see a lot of the girls who are doing the selfies on Instagram are holding their phones like at a high angle, right? If you watch the Braves in the baseball playoffs, they were doing this thing where they would hold after a home run, they would hold the camera at a high angle, do this mock kind of selfie thing. And that's because when you hold the camera at a high angle, it'll kind of have that slimming effect. Now, you don't have to have it super high like that, but just like eye to forehead level is usually good enough to have that effect. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the rule of thirds. What's the rule of thirds? Well, it's a composition rule in which you divide the screen up into like a tic-tac-toe grid, and then you frame it accordingly. So I'm centered up in the middle of the frame. My eyes are in the upper third of the frame. My forehead, I just have a little bit of headroom. I might have no headroom, but just want to have like a couple fingers of headroom or a finger of headroom, just a smidgen of headroom, which is the space between your head and the top of the frame, and that allows you to have some room at the bottom if you want to create a lower third, or else also you can be framed like this. Is also the rule of thirds if I was framed here, or else like if I was framed up right here. This would also be an example of using the rule of thirds. Now, you don't want to have your subject like in the bottom third of the frame, because that just doesn't look right, okay? And this rule of thirds applies to any sort of photography, any sort of digital photography, videography. And so I would encourage you to look up rule of thirds as you move forward if you're going to be serious about taking pictures, especially like for B-roll, because you want to use a variety of shots. And so for these videos, I just keep my camera, it's like a medium shot basically, or even a close-up it is kind of, but you want to shoot a variety of shots if you're capturing B-roll: wide shot, medium shot, close-up, extreme close-up, etc. And that gives you some variety when it comes to editing. Now, when it comes to your action, like just the lip flap, the lips bumping, the gums bumping, you can just keep like whatever. You don't have to shoot multiple takes of that unless you want to get really creative, maybe do some jump cuts, etc. But I'm going to get into that a little bit later. All right, so we talked about the rule of thirds, we talked about the cameras. I'm going to talk to you about shooting with your smartphone, because if you've ever seen the apps, some of the videos you might see are actually shot horizontally. All right, so when do you shoot horizontally? Well, that's great if you're creating content for like TikTok, for Instagram stories, for Snapchat, any sort of, even Facebook, you can shoot vertically. But like for YouTube, for example, like where this video is usually hosted, I shoot horizontally. I shoot the standard 16:9 aspect ratio. How do you know the difference? Well, think about, how does your TV look? Does it look like this, or does it look like this? All right. So the traditional way you shoot video, when I was coming, was horizontally. Like vertical video was unheard of when I was coming up, because even when TVs weren't 16:9, when they were 4:3, you still want to shoot it in the correct aspect ratio. And so of course most televisions are HD these days, so you want to shoot horizontally, like in general. But if you're creating content for like Instagram, for Snapchat, for Instagram stories, then vertical is perfectly fine. And vertical is actually fine for many of the social networks. Like I would say that 75% of them, like vertical is fine, but my rule is I'll shoot horizontally unless I'm shooting specifically for TikTok, Instagram stories, or Facebook stories, or Snapchat. All right, so in general, Facebook allows me to share 16:9 videos. Instagram, the regular Instagram TV, allows me to share 16:9 videos. It'll actually rotate if you just don't have any graphics on it or done anything to manipulate the video. So I like to shoot 16:9 because first and foremost, I'm going to share this on YouTube. Second of all, it'll look right on television, right? You've seen vertical videos where the video looks fine, but it has those black bars on the side of it, right? I mean, I just don't want my video to look like that, so I shoot horizontally 16:9 9 times out of 10. So it's important in pre-production to know where you're going to share your video, how you're going to share your video, because that's going to dictate how you shoot your video. So you can see how that all comes into play. And the same thing pertains to a webcam, which that's my webcam. I didn't want to unplug it, but it's on a tripod, as you can see. It's just pretty much static because it's set it and forget it kind of setup, where I can just get in front of my webcam. I just open up my recording software, hit record, and I can share the videos as well with that. There are 4K webcams. There are HD, like 16 by 9, 1080 webcams. There are 720 webcams. You might have a built-in webcam. If you're just getting started and you don't have an external webcam, use your built-in webcam. That is perfectly fine. Webcams do shoot 16 by 9, so they shoot horizontally in general. So just be aware of that. If you want to create vertical videos with your webcam, you might need to do some finagling. It'd be a whole different workflow, which I'm really not going to get into in this series. All right, but those are the basic cameras. Now, if you want to use like a DSLR, which is what this camera is, you have to know a little bit about photography. You have to know a little bit about the lenses, because you can interchange lenses. There are different focal lengths and ISO, aperture, and all that comes into play, which is a whole other conversation. But these cameras, like the one I'm shooting on right now, will give you an awesome picture, a superior picture, really. A 4K camera, I'm a little bit out of focus. Let me see. Here we go. All right. But DSLRs have superior camera imaging. There are a variety of Panasonic. I use generally Panasonic or Canon, but Sony makes great DSLRs as well. And that's a whole nother conversation, all right? But that is your primer into cameras and getting started with cameras. Now, to really keep it simple, I say start with your iPhone, all right? Now, if you're gonna start with your iPhone, you wanna use a tripod. You may wanna get like a tripod adapter like this one, all right? This is a tripod adapter. I'm using this little bendable tripod here. It's like a knockoff Joby tripod, but you would just screw your tripod adapter into the tripod like so. And then you would take your device, and if you wanna shoot vertically, you can, all right? This particular tripod adapter has a little ball head, so I can rotate it. If you want to shoot horizontally, this is the way you would shoot horizontally. All right. I might leave a description to a guide that I have, which has a lot of this gear, if you're interested in it. And I might have it as a download, or you have to give me your email. I haven't really decided that. But to start off with, I'll probably just put in the description as a free download to you, and I'll make some adjustments if that's helpful. If that's helpful, put yes in the comments. As a matter of fact, wherever you're seeing this video, put I want that mobile guide. I want that affordable gear guide. It has lights. It has all sorts of microphones, etc. So last thing I want to talk about is mobile microphones. Now, you can use a mobile microphone as well with your SmartLav, with your smartphone, whether it's Android or iPhone. The brand that I recommend is called SmartLav by Rode, R-O-D-E. It is SmartLav. It's also in that affordable gear guide. If you're using it with your iPhone, you have to get a little audio adapter, a dongle, to allow you to plug it in. You can plug in directly to your Android device. All right, but that is basically cameras. There's a little bit of audio as well. But yo, if you have any questions, leave them below. And if this video was helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these future episodes. Because we're going to get you going here. I'm trying to demystify video marketing so you can get started sharing your stories, sharing your message. You have too much information. There's no reason to hide behind a camera. There's no reason not to put yourself out there. There are folks that need you. They need to hear your message, and I really believe that, all right? So, Amani Channel, I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.